Actor Menglong falls from fifth floor. Entire nation silenced until secret video emerges. The city held its breath. Lights flickered over the skyline as news broke. Menglong, the actor whose smile had once lit every billboard and screen, had fallen from the fifth floor of his apartment. For hours, the nation was frozen, caught between disbelief and horror. The social feeds were silent, the streets unusually quiet, as if the city itself mourned. The world had watched his rise. Now it watched his fall, and nobody dared speak. From the start, the details were murky. Witnesses claimed to see nothing. Neighbors, shaking and whispering, could only recall faint footsteps and the distant hum of a city that never sleeps. Yet in the chaos, a dark undercurrent of fear and suspicion began to swell. Fans flooded memorial pages, leaving flowers in front of empty theaters, candles on sidewalks, and letters that pleaded with an absence that could never answer. But silence cannot hold forever. It was 3 days after the fall that the first hint of reality surfaced, a video, leaked in the dead of night, circulating through private channels. It was not the heroic rescue footage people expected. It was raw. It was terrifying. It was a window into a world the public had never seen. In the footage, Menglong's face was pale, almost ghost-like, as he sat in a dimly lit room. Shadows clawed at the walls, and the muffled sound of voices carried over the camera, distorted, commanding, inhuman. Every frame pulsed with tension. Fans who saw it reported feelings of nausea, heartbreak, and anger. This was not an accident. This was terror. The streets erupted again, but this time with fear. News anchors stammered, politicians whispered, and every corner of the nation buzzed with whispered questions. Who could do such a thing? How had the industry's brightest star been trapped in a nightmare behind closed doors? Social media exploded with speculation, but the video demanded something more than idle curiosity. It demanded recognition of cruelty hidden behind fame and the truth the world had refused to see. In the aftermath, the private life of Menglong unfolded like a dark tapestry. Close friends spoke of pressures unimaginable, contracts that felt like shackles, promotions that were threats in disguise, and an endless cycle of appearances masking torment. Yet the actor had kept smiling, as if his brilliance alone could shield him from what lurked behind velvet curtains. The video shattered that illusion, revealing not just a fall from a physical height, but a plummet from the precarious ledge of control, dignity, and safety. Fans streamed to the building where Menglong had lived. Flowers, notes, and makeshift shrines lined the streets, lit by flickering candles that reflected a city's grief. In one corner, an elderly woman wept, clutching a photograph of the actor from years ago, a reminder of innocence now lost. Nearby, a young fan sobbed, recording every detail on their phone, sharing it with others who were too far to witness. It was a collective mourning, and it was unrelenting. Authorities, meanwhile, scrambled to control the narrative. Investigations were launched, rumors spread like wildfire, and some tried to label the incident as an unfortunate accident. But the leaked footage had already pierced the veil of denial. Ordinary citizens, journalists, and even international observers demanded answers. How could someone so adored fall so silently? What forces had conspired to make the private public, the invisible visible, and the unimaginable undeniable? In private circles, whispers of powerful enemies began to surface. Allegiances, contracts, and betrayals became key threads in a tapestry no one could fully unravel. People spoke in hushed tones about the industry's underbelly, an environment where glamour masked manipulation, where talent was exploited, and where silence was currency. Menglong had been at its center, a star whose light was so bright it cast shadows too deep to ignore. The leaked video was analyzed frame by frame. Every detail became a clue. The angle of the shadows, the trembling of Menglong's hands, the faint markings on the walls. Fans and analysts pored over each second, piecing together a story that was both horrifying and mesmerizing. Online forums exploded with theories, some credible, some fantastical, but all fueled by a desperate need to understand what had driven a beloved actor to the edge. Yet amidst the darkness, there was a strange beauty. People found unity in grief and admiration for the man who had endured so much with grace. His performances were revisited, his interviews watched anew, and his private gestures of kindness, once unnoticed, were celebrated as heroic. The tragedy had transformed Menglong from an idol to a symbol, a reminder that brilliance often carries invisible burdens and that the price of fame can be immeasurable. In the weeks following the leak, a movement began. Fans demanded transparency. Online campaigns spread calling for accountability, for protection of artists, for recognition of mental and emotional health in an industry that had long ignored them. Memorials grew larger, stories multiplied, and the narrative shifted from horror to remembrance, from tragedy to collective awakening. Yu Menglong, though fallen, had ignited a conversation no government, no studio, and no power could silence. Even now, long after the initial shock, the streets are quiet but vigilant. The video circulates, not as a sensationalist tool, but as evidence, a testament to resilience, courage, and the unseen struggles of those who light up our screens. In his absence, the world watches, learns, and remembers that no star shines forever without leaving shadows behind, and that truth, once revealed, can never be contained. And so, the nation continues to mourn, but also to awaken. Yu Menglong's fall was both literal and symbolic, a reminder of the fragility of life, the weight of fame, and the courage it takes to confront forces that seek to diminish us. The streets remain lined with flowers, the candles flicker in the night, and the video, haunting as it is, serves as a chilling yet necessary mirror. For those who knew him only on screens, the tragedy is incomprehensible. For those who glimpse the video, it is undeniable. And for everyone, everywhere, the legacy of Yu Menglong is now etched in a story of brilliance, suffering, and the relentless pursuit of truth that not even silence could hold. Yu Menglong's personal moments of struggle, it would read like an almost cinematic. The moment the video first leaked, it was as if the air itself thickened. Phones buzzed nonstop, notifications flooding inboxes with shaky links that no one dared click, and yet everyone did. A hush fell over the city streets. Taxis slowed, pedestrians froze mid-step, and even the neon advertisements seemed dimmer. Yu Menglong's name became a whisper and a scream all at once. Inside the dimly lit room captured by the leaked footage, shadows shifted unnaturally, almost sentient, dancing across walls stained by years of neglect. The camera trembled as if held by a hand that feared what it had captured. Menglong's eyes, wide and haunted, darted across the room. His lips moved silently, pleading, arguing, perhaps reciting fragments of prayers only he could hear. Every flicker of movement made viewers hold their breath, hearts pounding in unison with the camera's jitter. Outside, the city began to fracture under the weight of curiosity and terror. Fans gathered in clusters, whispering theories, reading aloud fragments from the footage, each more shocking than the last. One teenager pressed his ear to a speaker in a crowded internet cafe, muttering, "It's like he's trapped, and screaming inside a maze we can't see." His friends nodded, eyes wide, unable to tear themselves away. Across town, a group of university students dissected every frame, screenshots pinned to walls with red string connecting cryptic details. Authorities moved quickly, but clumsily. Police barricades appeared around Menglong's apartment. Cameras and microphones pointed toward a silence that was louder than any scream. Detectives combed through the building's hallways, tapping on doors and interviewing neighbors who spoke in hushed tones. Everyone seemed to know something, yet everyone seemed terrified to speak. The leaked video had become a force of its own, unstoppable, uncontainable, and terrifyingly revealing. In one particularly harrowing scene, the footage captured a brief glimpse of Menglong reaching for a door handle. The room behind him was a labyrinth of stacked boxes, forgotten costumes, and cracked mirrors. Each mirror reflected not just his image, but fragments of shadowy figures moving behind him, quick and silent, like phantoms enforcing some unseen punishment. The viewer could almost feel the cold brush of those figures' presence, their intent heavy, oppressive. Heartbeats raced as millions of screens flickered in sync, uniting a nation in fear. Meanwhile, the online world erupted. Discussion threads spiraled into obsession. Did you see the reflection? One post read, "There's a second shadow moving against physics," another claimed. For some, the footage was proof of conspiracy. For others, a window into something supernatural, an allegory for the suffocating grip of fame. The lines between reality and perception blurred as the public devoured every frame, frame by frame, desperate to understand the impossible. The leak also drew attention to the building itself. Journalists swarmed, climbing rooftops to glimpse the fifth-floor window, where Menglong had last been seen. Flashbulbs ignited the night like lightning, reflecting off rain-slick streets. One cameraman described the scene. "It's as if the building itself mourns him. The bricks seem darker here, the air heavier, the shadows longer." Even the most skeptical reporters found themselves whispering, almost afraid to break the spell of the night. Inside the private rooms where Menglong had spent his last days, reporters were denied access, but stories emerged. Former colleagues spoke under pseudonyms of strange phone calls, envelopes filled with insane threats, and invitations to meetings that ended in locked rooms and unanswered questions. Every tale painted a picture of control so total that Menglong's every smile on screen had been a carefully curated illusion, masking a reality far darker than anyone could have imagined. Back on social media, the leak transformed from mere footage into a living entity. Memes, fan theories, and viral clips emerged, each interpreting the video differently. One video creator slowed the footage, revealing a heartbeat-like pulse of light on the wall behind Menglong, unnoticed in real time, but visible when played in slow motion. Another creator isolated the audio, enhancing a faint whisper. "Don't let them see you," repeated endlessly, sending chills through those who listened. The footage became not just news, but a phenomenon, part horror, part confession, all-consuming. At night, the city's skyline reflected the tension. Lights flickered across skyscrapers, as if each building shivered at the revelation. Streetlights cast long, distorted shadows that seemed to stretch toward the apartment, connecting the living to the unseen. Drivers slowed, pedestrians glanced nervously up, and somewhere, someone whispered a prayer for a man who had fallen far beyond the physical realm. In private, Menglong's closest friends and confidants watched the footage with horror and grief. Tears streamed down their faces, but anger burned hotter. One former manager clenched fists, muttering, "We let them do this. We all let them do this." Another whispered a vow to uncover the truth, no matter the cost. Every frame of the video became a puzzle piece, a map leading deeper into a labyrinth of deceit, exploitation, and cruelty. And yet, through it all, the actor's presence endured. In every frame, in every shadow, in every whispered word, Menglong's essence radiated, fragile, human, and resilient. It was the humanity in his eyes, the trembling of his hands, the subtle defiance of a man forced to endure the unendurable that gripped hearts worldwide. Fans described an uncanny sensation, as if the video, though terrifying, was also a message, a plea, a warning, a testament to endurance. By the fifth day, the footage had been analyzed, debated, and dissected endlessly. News outlets ran retrospectives on Menglong's life, his career, and the pressures of the industry. Streets around the building became makeshift memorials. Candles flickered, flowers bloomed, and murals appeared, portraying Menglong not as a victim, but as a symbol of resilience and courage. People who had never known him personally mourned collectively, finding in his ordeal a reflection of their own struggles, their own hidden battles. Even now, the footage lingers. It is a constant echo, a haunting reminder of fragility, fame, and the human cost of control. Each viewing is a journey into shadows, each frame a testament to both suffering and enduring spirit. And as the city slowly returns to a semblance of normalcy, one truth remains undeniable. The fall was not just a physical descent from the fifth floor. It was the exposure of hidden horrors, the illumination of shadows, and the awakening of a nation once silenced, now united in grief, curiosity, and the search for truth.